Joe, what are you doing? Joe, you know I can see you, right? What the hell, Joe? Did you just throw a box in my face? Joe! Joe, come back here. Do not run away. Yes, come here. Joe, did you throw a box at my head? I asked.
No.
He knows about us. He must be killed.
Fuck, man. That really hurt. Joe, have you been going through my toys? Is that my Star Wars blaster?
What?
What is that in your hand?
Nothing.
Little does he know, it's actually a powerful gun that customizes to my needs when I summon it. It's controlled to my thoughts and emotions, something you'll never understand. With your simple mind.
What is taking you so long to answer me, Joe?
Yes, it's a Star Wars gun.
Wait,
You fool.
are you internally monologuing before and after everything you say?
No.
No.
Yes! Yes, you are!
Bitch.
Hey guys, welcome to our review for Control. Now, apologize, it's in this format. I'm getting a little sick in the last day or two, and throat hurts real bad, but I think I'd rather do something because we're running out of time. We want to do an angry review for Blair Witch. Obviously, we want to review Borderlands 3 and some of these other games, but I thought, hey, let's cover some of these games in any way that we can. So for Control, we're going to do one of these. It's a sit-down review, so I've got Joe and Del, who have also played the game.
Yes.
And,
yes, I have.
So you're not going to make it awkward, Joe. All right, so Control. What the hell is this game about, Del?
Supernatural.
Basically, it's a I guess you could compare it best to the SCP Foundation, but you're in a
What the hell is that?
secure, contain, protect. It's a what do you even call it? It's a story-driven, like, fascinating
action adventure.
objects.
I'll help you out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Del.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically if you were to mix Alan Wake with a little bit of
Nissan, I think.
the Quantum Break, and then throw in a tiny bit. Yes, and throw in maybe a tiny bit of some of Destiny-looking enemies, not gameplay or anything like that,
Yeah.
but just the architecture and that kind of stuff. Basically, you immediately become the head of this bureau, the Bureau of Control,
director.
and you're basically spend the whole time in one building. And this building can shift, and that's what you see in some of the trailers, that the building has got all this concrete shifting blocks and things like that. And you obtain this gun, and this gun apparently makes you the director and gives you the power, but then later on you realize there's so much more to this.
Yep.
One of the first things that I was thinking was the much derailed and much hated XCOM game. What was that? It was like the Bureau or something like that.
Yeah, I think
for
it was the
XCOM.
Bureau, yeah.
It kind of reminded me a little bit of that with how they were doing things. There's plenty of side collectibles that you can pick up.
Oh, yeah.
So
A lot of
many.
hidden
Like,
items.
yeah, I really wish there was
So
this
much hidden
many
stuff.
collectibles
Yeah.
and papers and shit in other games that I really want to explore the lore. I want to explore the lore here because it is interesting to me. If you like the FBI, if you like supernatural stuff, if you like the powers of, flight and manipulation and that kind of thing, I think you're going to
A lot of
like it.
alternate reality stuff too, like different dimensions, alternate reality, really cool stuff.
So right away, Joe, I'll ask you this. Is this better than their last game, Quantum Break?
Yes, by far. I really had fun with this one.
This will be the ultimate Remedy experience, and it's coming exclusively to Xbox One.
Quantum breakage.
Better than a Nissan out of 10?
Yes.
What?
Two Nissans. out
Two,
of
scene,
10.
two
It's two
Nissans
Nissans
No,
out
I
of
would-
10.
And I keep
Nissan in the back. Can you see that?
Nissan.
Nissan.
That's why there's this specific camera angle, Joe. Because notice, I can't move my character in this camera angle. They needed to set up the Nissan sponsorship, and you are forced to press the back button just to make sure that you look.
Oh shit, we need to go to Nissan factory.
Oh, I'm gonna give this game a Nissan out of 10.
But first, let's talk about what it does do well. Maybe it's like a Toyota out of 10 or a Hyundai out of 10. I don't know. But let's talk about what it does do really well.
Combat. I love the combat so much.
Why?
All the different abilities you could do, especially throwing.
Oh, hey, Joe. What the fuck? Come here, you little shit.
It was a joke. I'm sorry, Alex. No, I'm sorry.
That
Yeah,
was
that
by
throwing
far
stuff?
was the best.
Joe just loves throwing shit in people's face.
Did you upgrade it all the way and be
Yeah,
able to
we
throw
did.
forklifts
We
and
did.
stuff? Like that
I
was
made
so
him
great.
do it. But yeah, I love the combat, the variation of enemies, but
Yeah.
I wanted more.
A little bit more variation in enemies could have helped.
Yes.
I think, but staying on the combat, like, you start off relatively weak. The
very.
gun is excellent. I mean, the gun is very powerful right off the bat, but
Great
you only get
sound,
one
too.
version of it. And then eventually this gun can transform into different modes. Me and Joe only played with 4. I think you played with the 5th
There-
mode,
yeah,
right?
the
Did
fifth
you
mode.
craft the 5th
Yeah,
gun?
I
I
love the
did.
shotgun.
The rocket launcher
course.
mode. Did you guys get that one?
Yeah, there's a piercer.
I have the piercer.
Piercer
yeah.
and the rocket launcher. We
Yep.
love those.
Machine gun.
And then you actually start to open up some of the powers of what they call, I don't really know where this power comes from, whether it's from one side or the hiss. So they call this sort of enemies that you're dealing with the hiss, and then they all call the other side like Polaris or something like that. Just the opposite, the board or whatever.
The board, yeah.
And so you have these powers that you could actually start to manipulate their minds, so you can basically generate a little army for yourself and have them fight the enemies for you. You can also grab people out of the air when they're, half health, and then use those enemies to throw at other enemies.
Yep.
So fun.
The
it's so much
shield
fun.
skill, fully upgrading the shield skill is amazing because you can lift it up and then you can go blah and just shotgun everything with the shield stuff.
See, you could
Yeah.
approach it. You could go down different tracks.
Yeah,
Me
there's
and
different
Joe
ways.
did not bother with the shield
Head
ever.
on, baby.
That was
Head on,
cool,
baby.
dude.
We would evade. I was really desperately wanting to get the flight. The flight is towards
It's
the
fun,
end.
yeah.
And there are a few side missions in the game. There's like a main path. I didn't expect these side missions.
Yep.
And that's actually one of the more interesting things is that, in fact, some of the side missions in Control are much better than the main missions
Oh,
in
yeah,
Control.
definitely.
So you could end up, your experience can vary wildly, because if you skip some of these, then you're really not going to get to see some of the
Oh,
coolest
yeah.
boss battles. It's really bad, in my opinion, when you have a boss battle like this in sort of like the main storyline. Don't you run from me, Horowitz! Stop running! I've never seen a boss run so much as you running now! Oh my god, this is the worst boss battle I have ever played. This has to be amongst the worst. Are you seeing this shit?
I should talk to Wells. Make sure he's okay.
What the fuck? And then you have a boss battle that is completely side. You better know where to get it. You better talk to the guy with the fridge, and you get a boss like this. And she cusses in the fucking fuck. What the fuck is this? Oh, the best mission in the fucking game is a fucking side mission that you can completely fucking miss. Are you fucking shitting me? Oh, fuck. I'm in trouble. I ain't got no help. That shit was cool.
That was.
Like, that fucking boss, we were fighting that thing
like, what is
constantly.
Could I get an F for Philip?
Yeah, Philip,
Philip needs
who's
an F,
you
yeah.
know, trying to, you know, protect the fridge, and you've got to help Philip fight this boss. But so I was like, really, I enjoyed the boss battles, but when you say that, you have to preface it with the boss battles
You're
and
like,
the
which
side
one?
missions.
I mean, so you're talking about what I agree with you too. Like, you guys said the combat. He said the combat was his favorite part. For me, it's the exploration, because it's a very Metroidvania type of game where you're supposed to go to these side areas. You're supposed to look around,
Backtrack
and
a
you
little
find
bit.
so much stuff when you go through again. I mean, like, for example, I found a secret set of things to do that you would never ever, no clue that you had to do it, involving these televisions with burning fires in the furnace, and got like an ultra legendary upgrade from finding that secret. And the side missions are the same way. There's secret side missions everywhere. There are so many areas in the game that you won't find if you're not looking.
Yeah.
It's just nuts, the level
Yeah.
of exploration throughout the entire
I
game.
love the exploration. However, you know, there is some backtracking. I'm one of those people that don't necessarily like backtracking. I think the game could have benefited. I'm really surprised at what they do with this location. Because a bunch of concrete, you say, this shit will get boring.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't get boring until towards the middle and towards the end, they start to vary it up again. You're going to different locations towards the end. However, it does drag a little bit towards the middle. And you wish you could go to different
That's where
locations.
it started dropping for me.
Right. We
Like, some
were
of these
dropping.
tedious tasks. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah. What do you call it? Like bitch tags. You know, fetch quests.
Yeah, I was like,
over and I was like, man, go fucking do this yourself.
You
Fuck.
were doing so good. Don't ruin the pacing.
Right,
It
the
was good.
pacing, like, and it would have been fine if it was like, go over here and explore some more things.
Yep.
And they do have other areas of the building that you can do that, but I guess they wanted to save that for doing it on your own. Other good things. The physics.
The
is
physics system, yeah, like you
so
said.
cool.
Like, being able, on top of that, being able to get to areas you're not supposed to be able to get to at certain points in the game because of their physics system is so sweet. Like, using levitate to put shelves and stacking boxes, then going to an area you're supposed to go to at the end of the game. I did that non-stop.
Or
Yeah.
me climbing the
Of course
stairs.
you would, yeah. Joe, well, that Joe likes to break the game. There was at one point where there's something at the top, and Joe's like, "Well, I'll just go up these stairs," and
like-
yeah, didn't work.
Yeah.
Out. They didn't have an animation for that. Go there. How do you get there?
This is how you
I
climb
guess
stairs.
you cannot climb stairs in control. You are out of control, Joe. That is out of order. Oh shit! Oh shit! That's how you're supposed to do it. This game could have bothered to program climbing stairs,
Oh,
but no,
man.
that is literally how you're supposed to do it.
Guess you just gotta jump. It's like a tap dancer.
I love that sound. But no, I love the physics in this game. Literally, you just destroy things. It's so
Oh, yeah.
satisfying to use your push power to like break apart fucking desks
Yep.
and computers, and papers go flying everywhere. It
So
looks
much
amazing.
destruction. It's
They also
incredible.
use this game as an RTX type of feature, and when you throw on RTX, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Now we
Reflections
played
are
without
good.
it because we were not only recording to our hard drive, we were also streaming in 1080p, and then we turned on DirectX 12 and
But he's gonna
RTX,
fix it now.
and that was making it a little slower. We need to
Yep.
do the dual computer setup for our stream
Yep.
so that we could show you that. But when we did, it was amazing. But even when we turned everything to low, it still actually looked pretty good. The character models are really nice and detailed. Though the main actress, I don't know. Something with her face.
Well, so we actually
I don't
figured
know
it out.
why. I don't want to be rude. You
So
can't be like, your face looks
Her
weird.
lower jaw disjoints during conversations. Like we sat and we found a looping.
I don't think so.
We found a looping conversation for a brief few seconds where she's talking and her jaw literally goes like this.
What?
And she's talking like her jaw's
I hope
offset.
you have a clip
Yes,
of that.
I would love to see that.
I'll find it. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
find the clip.
Do you think that thing...
Something's always so wrong with their mouths. Do you see how her mouth is slightly off center? She's not conquering as she set her jaw to the right.
But yeah, I don't know. But you know, some of the other characters in the game are quite fascinating. I like them. They have their
Janitor
own.
looked good.
The
though.
janitor looked great.
Yeah,
He's
it's pretty-
interesting.
Ati.
Ati,
yeah.
the Pope. This is chick that's like a scientific girl who loves her job and what she does, and she looks good. And I think the lip syncing looks good for a game of this caliber. I mean, this is 505 Games. It's a kind of a triple A, maybe a double A, and for that it looks great. And a lot of people say, "Oh, that lip syncing looks terrible. It looks awkward," or they were trying to find reasons to hate it because I guess they saw me playing the game and I was being quiet and resting, normal face. Joe does looks like he's bored. No, I'm actually just listening to the
You just have a
story.
bored resting
You
face.
can't just
Yeah.
smile all the time.
I know, or be angry all the freaking time. So I think a lot of people who came into our stream as we were playing and reviewing and thought that we hated it, but we really didn't. There were challenging boss battles, those side boss battles. And even though we're dying over and over and maybe spending an extra 45 minutes on a boss, it was still fun. We were figuring out his pattern. You got to jump from platform to platform, especially the anchor boss. That's also a side boss. Again, it's like, wow, like these
Side boss is best.
the clock
bosses.
side boss. But I think that's pretty much it for the good parts. Enjoyed.
Well, the other good part that I liked was the story. I was intrigued. I was trying to find out in the investigation. I was like, what's going
Yes.
on? Is it aliens? Is
Yeah.
it ghosts?
Yeah, they really,
some kind of
really
Stranger Things?
hook you,
What the hell?
and they really string you along. I liked that, but it was starting to get a little annoying. I was like, start giving
That's
me
where
some
some of
answers
the
here.
pacing-
They do give you some answers in the third act, and they pull a hella fast one at the end. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I got really, really upset towards the end of the game. But then later on, I realized, okay, I'm not that upset, but I still think the story ends kind of on a sour note, a little unsatisfactory. Fuck you, game! The fuck? That's the fucking ending? Come on! Not initially as bad as I thought, but it still kind of ended like, fuck. There's so many characters here they didn't really explore or explain, and I don't want to spoil which ones for you, because this is really one where one of those games where it's like the story is going to carry it through, and how much you enjoy that story is going to carry it. And for me, it carried it just enough. It was actually more about the combat. The combat and the exploration and the physics is why I like this game, and the story was all right to keep me interested to keep going.
I never got tired of ripping pillars out of a wall and just
Yeah.
throwing them at people.
Same.
Like it was
Upgrade,
like
upgrade,
break the
throw.
pillar, rip the pillar out, throw it at people. Like that sort of stuff was so satisfying the entire way through. And so it's like even though the enemies were the same, it was just I'm gonna throw a forklift at you this time and a pillar this time and a BMW. It's like, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
And as far as the story, even when the story completes, you can play the game some more. So don't worry about having to hit every single side mission before you end this thing, because you can go back and play the side missions. And there are even side bosses. Again, even more side bosses that open up at the end of the game. One having to do with the mirror universe. That, again, is really cool. And I'm like, where the fuck were all these bosses in the main game? In fact, final boss is such a huge disappointment. The ending level, you think you're going to fight some awesome-ass boss, and you think you know where it's going. Then it just kind of ends, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
So that brought it down a little bit for me. So now let's talk a little bit about the cons to the game. Why would you get mad at this game?
For me, it was just something simple as the map. Like I kept getting
Oh,
lost.
the map.
If they would have just been like, all right, this is level
So
1,
bad.
this is level 2, and here's the map, that would have been a little bit easier.
Yes.
But
yes, but
with
no,
that,
they
it was-
cram it all into one plane,
You're like,
and you're
wait,
supposed to know
this is not
which
connected.
is above.
Okay, so I got to go back down. I was like, damn it.
And not only that, Joe, we couldn't zoom in on it. So my eyes was
Yeah.
like, fuck, Joe, what does that say? I can't see it. You can't zoom in on it. You think you go into the menu,
Yep.
and then you can go into a separate map. Maybe it's 3D and you can zoom in. No. It's the worst fucking map I've played in
It seemed like
many,
an
many
add-on.
years.
They did give you those signs though everywhere, like above
No,
the doors.
yeah.
You're like, control build. All right, I'm going the right
Terrible.
way.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
that, I mean, you have to use
You have to
that.
use the signs, yeah.
But if you are going to give a map, don't fucking give a map like that. You know, if you want to not handhold and actually force people to go through, then fucking force people. But if you're gonna put a map, then put a map that doesn't frustrate the fuck out of you, which it did for us.
I mean,
we hated the map.
It's like they couldn't decide because it was obvious they wanted you to learn the place.
You often
without a
get
map.
lost.
Yeah, but if they wanted that, they should have just given you like a paper map
Exactly.
that doesn't have the live tracking on it. If they would have just given you a paper blueprint or something to like fit with the "you're new here, this is all we got right now, our tech is old," because they even say their tech is old, so you could have a
the
paper
old
map and you
house.
have figured out that way. That would have been cool, and I would have been like, all right, it makes sense. They got like 1960s tech, but instead they just give you that useless piece of shit.
Yeah, and then I also said this: the middle of the game sags a bit, seeming a little
the
bit too much
pacing.
like bitch quests are happening too many times instead of discovery and exploration, which Del likes and I liked.
That must be where he keeps the prisms.
No.
I've been to maintenance already. I can find my way.
But how long will that take?
I know,
Really
right?
Simple.
I
to
don't
ask her
know.
now,
These tasks, these
before we
bitch
go.
tasks are starting to
I
grate
need
on
some
me a
info
little bit.
first.
Yep.
The same building is cool, but it's also a bit stifling. Every single new chapter, you're in the same building, going to the same locations. You wish it would just be a little bit more. One thing that's kind of aside is I don't know why the game chose to do this, but it's funny. When people are talking to you and you're talking to them, the main character takes so much time to just go ahead and internally monologue. So it's like, you know, that it just fucking...
Should I tell them important information? No. I'll keep it to myself.
Myself, yeah.
Like, why?
It's like, I'd like to know more about that. I'd like to know more about that. It's redundant. It is unnecessary. And it was funny, and I don't know why they did that.
You know what the greatest part is? There's like scenes where the people you're talking to are just like smiling awkwardly at you because you just got like these long. They ask you
Yeah,
a
you're
question.
long pausing.
They ask you a question and they're like,
And you just have like a whole conversation. At one point, I was like, she's crazy. I
Yeah,
was like, I think
she's taking
crazy.
a little too long to respond.
Yeah.
If I was Pope or so, the security guy would be like, "Are you okay, ma'am?"
Yeah.
Because
but instead they're just like,
because you're talking to yourself in your head. You know, I also felt like the game was a little too easy. I mean, towards the end, when you unlock all your powers, obviously you're super powerful, and
Or
it's
if you
difficult for
explore
a
like
game.
this guy did.
yeah, exploring.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
so
Del
fun.
was all overpowered when by the time he's fighting other bosses. Plus, he's already very good at games. So you combine those two things. Did you find it relatively easy?
I died maybe twice.
Yeah. See, even though it's easy, it's still fun as
It's
fuck.
fun as hell. Yeah.
It's so fun, but it's really easy.
You feel
so
ki-
it's difficult for me to like be like, oh man, this is one of the better combat systems. I think it needs difficulty levels.
It was, like,
if you
overpowered,
go
yeah.
into the settings and there's like 3 difficulty settings, that'd be great. But as far as I know, there's not.
No.
You just beat the game and then you can play the game a little bit more. Now there are these little side missions that open up. They're timed side missions. I think these are cool at the end of the game, and you know, they really only give you materials because
Yeah.
surprisingly there's a crafting system here. There is like rarities of personal mods, which you can unlock 3 slots for personal mods, stuff like increasing your energy, increasing your health, that kind of stuff. And then there are weapon mods for the 4 to 5 weapons that you can unlock. And then on top of that, there's also the ability skill tree, which are going down certain paths. Whereas Del went down the shield path, and he could eventually throw shields. Me and Joe were focusing on picking large
flight.
things up and,
Yeah,
and flight.
I didn't level flight, but I did do the 2 telekinesis and the shield, which was cool.
But, you know, and the more you explore, the more you can open up, and it's dynamic in the sense that you can open it all up before you even go to the end boss, if you're just farming all these crappy side missions and things like that, and the timed missions that happen over and over. So I understand that it's kind of difficult to balance in that way, but there needed to be something. You know, New Game Plus, or an additional difficulty level that could have helped out with that. And it doesn't help that I'd say 1/3, 2/3 maybe of enemies are dumb as fuck.
Yeah, they are.
The
Yes,
AI is
I use
broken.
the corners so much.
The
to
corners,
cheat.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The flying guys in particular, they cannot come at you if you just stay under a
Doorway.
ledge,
Our
a
only-
doorway.
Our only weakness.
Yes. And finally. What you doing, buddy? Yeah, there you go. Go down a little more. All right. Come on. Turn around now, buddy. Come on. You can do it. Come on. I'm gonna shoot your butthole. Come on. There you go, buddy. Come on. Oh no. Oh no. I guess. Nope. You don't like this. Like this. And then come here. Come on. There you go. But no. There you go. He's made it that far. He can't come down. Calm down. There you go. Come on. All right. There we go. Yeah, come on. No, you keep no. So I have plenty of footage of us manipulating the AI in this way, and that's why I was hoping for a little bit more difficult AI. You combine this this world, this system, this AI, and you make it like Fear. Remember that game?
Yes.
Can't believe Fear had such good fucking AI. They actually, flank you, pull tactics, try to get you out of places with grenades and all sorts of stuff. And I was thinking about that game, and I think about that game often when I want the AI to be better. This is a game like 10, 15 years ago, and it still has better AI than some of these games coming out today. So that would have really made the game higher ranked for me. So why don't we go ahead and let's do our final verdicts for these. So who wants to start it off?
Me. I love the story. Like I said, I was trying to figure it out.
I love your shirt, Joe.
Thank you.
What's going on here?
I got it for him as a gift.
Oh,
Yeah.
that does seem like a Dell thing.
What are
cat
you
riding
gonna
on
do?
2 sharks.
Yeah.
All right, what about the game?
So the story kept me intrigued, but the pacing, like we were talking about, it really sagged. Some of
Yeah.
it kind of took me off. I was like, oh yeah, we're supposed to do this. Some of the level designs felt flat for me, except for this one, the janitor level. That was a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh, right. That's towards the end.
Yeah, I wish.
And why? Because it looks completely different
Yeah,
from everything we played.
and,
This like
it's
shifting
so
building.
obscure and everything is crazy. I kind
quarry
of
was
wish
cool,
they
too.
implemented that in different levels. You go to different projectors, try to close something out. You go.
You're
into
talking
that
about
world.
when there was heavy metal music playing as well. Okay.
Exactly, that one. I wish they would have done more stuff like that. That would have been cool. More enemies.
Yeah.
But all in all, I still had fun with the combat. But I'm gonna give this a 7. It still lags for me because, like, at the end, I was like, well, there's
You were
more.
hoping
but
it would end
well, now we
better.
know why.
Yeah.
The DLC's coming.
Yeah, Dell.
I haven't played a game with an emphasis on exploration like this. Like like I said, it's a Metroidvania type of game where, the old Metroid games, the Castlevania games, where there's so many places for you to go that you're not supposed to, or you're not encouraged to go, but you can go there anyway and find stuff.
If you're clever enough.
And the idea of getting lost but finding so much cool stuff because you're lost was just something I really liked. And mix that with the overpowered main character thing, like One Punch Man, where it's just so satisfying. They're like, we're bad guys, and I'm gonna hit you with a forklift type of thing.
That's so beautiful.
It was really fun for me because I hadn't played Alan Wake. I didn't have to suffer through the awfulness that was Quantum Break with you. But for me, I had no expectations going into this, and I just played it because you were playing it. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And I think I enjoyed it more than you guys because even though it was like slow and uninteresting at times, I was looking around and I was looking under things. I found a bunch of objects of power that were hidden in plain sight. And they dropped notes for you the entire time saying they're hidden in plain sight.
Yeah.
And so like if you start looking around, you're
Tons
like,
of Easter eggs.
that doesn't look right. And so you mess with it and weird shit happens. I just love that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
so I'm at an 8. Like I'm at an 8
I
for
can
this game.
totally understand an
Yeah.
8. I really can because I was hovering between 6, 7, 8. And that's where the game is all the time. Sometimes you're like, oh my god, another bitch quest. Oh my god, the fuck this map, and you're going down to a 6. And then sometimes you just randomly stumble upon a side mission, and this amazing boss comes out, and the whole room warps and you fucking telescopes, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Did you get the duck?
Yes, I got
You got the duck?
right.
All right,
So,
yeah, that was good.
There's lots of really good stuff in there, guys. And so then you're all the way up to like an 8, and I can totally understand that. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to agree with Joe. We're at a 7 because I'll combine all these things together. Some of the annoyances, the map, the middle of the game sagging, checkpoint system, the difficulty, internal monologuing, and that ending that needed just a little bit more. Then you could have earned that 8.
It was almost great, but
yeah,
didn't.
And hell,
didn't
and then
finish strong.
and the main storyline bosses are so awful compared to the side mission bosses, which are amazing. Put more of those in the main one and give us interesting side mission bosses. And now you're talking about 9
Little
areas.
variation.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it really has a lot of potential, and the mileage is going to vary based upon do you like these interesting stories, and there's plenty of cutscenes. But a lot of it is optional. You sit after you talk with your person in between chapters. You could sit right back down and talk to them and go through a bunch of different
learn
dialogue
a lot,
options,
yeah.
and I liked that. And the fact that it was within the game, and it didn't take me and Joe out to watch some goddamn crappy sitcom like in Quantum Break Theory, Nissan out of 10. It was all within the game.
You watch the Threshold Kids.
The Threshold Kids
Yeah,
was good.
and then there's weird stuff in
What
this
the
game.
hell? Yeah.
Like this Threshold Kids. Like look here, just look at this.
It's like the director says. Confidential and children both start with C.
The director's a puppet! A dirty, rotten, fart person!
Dad says my mama went missing in actions. She walked into the city and didn't come back. I don't know what missing in actions is, but I sure wish someone would find her.
I'll help you look, Topher. We'll find your mama together.
What the fuck? I still don't understand the Threshold Kids.
Did you find the stick?
No, I didn't find
You
the
can
stick.
find the stick.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no idea what these Threshold Kids are all about. And I guess it's for children of the agents in the thing, or maybe it was for Dylan and
It's a
the
mystery.
main
You
guy. I have
have
no
no
idea.
idea.
You got this all.
For
Tell
all
us
we-
what there was that
For
was
all
all
we
about.
know, that could be an altered object. We don't know.
Right.
Because it's like anything could be not supposed to be there. But
And then there's also like a music video that I thought was hilarious.
Yes.
You got to talk about the music video. Find it for
Dynamite.
yourself. That brought the score up. So I could totally see an 8. A lot of people went into the stream and saw me playing at my 10th hour, so they saw me tired and they thought I hated the game. I actually don't hate it. Initially, I went to bed. I was like 6. After that ending pissed me off. But then you sleep on it and you realize all the moments, and you start thinking about the moments and going through the lore and looking through all your collectibles. And like you said, some of the Easter eggs and shit, it brings it back up to a 7 for me. So I actually like it. So I would recommend this one to you if you're interested in sort of FBI investigation, supernatural, those kinds of unique sci-fi-ish stories. If you're not into that, though, then you probably want to skip this one. And like Del says, there's a lot of backtracking. For me, it wasn't quite as novel as it was, for Castlevania lovers and things like that. It was getting a little annoying, but luckily in that third act they vary it up with different locations in the game. So that's it. Control. Check it out if you're interested. Thank you guys so much. And again, sorry, we're gonna go ahead and we'll be looking at Blair Witch next, and of course Borderlands 3. So stay tuned for those reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, don't let this one pass you by. I think it's actually 50, right, instead of 60. I'm not really.
I don't know off the
I'm
top
not
of
really
my head,
sure.
yeah.
But it's you know,
it's not bad. It's a good game.
Yeah, especially from 505. I think it's one of their better ones. So they're getting better. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.